Hello and welcome. Today we are in the Tier 8 Japanese destroyer, the Kagerou. This is a match in the 1 vs 1 ranked mode, and this entire video is actually my journey of ranking out in this ranked season. It's basically a whole bunch of matches going from rank 4 to rank 1. I don't only play the Kagerou, I also play the Le Terrible and the Le Fantasque. So it's just destroyers, and I basically play in a similar way. So in this match I am against the Cleveland, and the strategy is to just push the Cleveland as hard as I can and then try to get close and torpedo them. You see, I launched my torpedoes there, and you might think that this is foolish because, well, what if I don't sink the Cleveland with these? Thing is, I have reload booster, and this is actually the reason why I picked the Kagerou. You see, reload booster means that you can launch your torpedoes twice, meaning that you can be pretty sure that if you get even remotely close, you can get the enemy cruiser, or battleship, or destroyer. I would even say carrier, but you generally don't get that close to a carrier. Anyway, this was an easy victory, so let's move on to the next match. This time we're again against the Cleveland. This time though, I'm playing slightly differently. You see, I'm gonna go into the cap, but I expect the Cleveland to radar, and so I'm just gonna sit behind this mountain here for a little bit to wait until basically the radar goes down. I'm just gonna cap, and radar's obviously going to come. Here it is, so I'm just gonna wait, because I can. I don't have to move here. RPF also tells me where the enemy Cleveland is. Radar is gone. I'm being hydroed now, which means Cleveland is close enough, and so I'm just gonna push her now. And considering where RPF is pointing and the fact that I'm hydroed, she must be behind that island. Which is actually really good for me, because considering where RPF is pointing, she's probably nose pointed towards the, well, the A and B side. Which means that she is not going to be sailing away once I go around the island, and so she should be a very easy ship to sink. And there she is. Yeah, she has no chance. The torpedoes will sink her. And Kagerou is... so basically we're doing the same thing as we did with the Yukikaze, but Kagerou is actually more effective at this due to the reload booster. So if they knock out your torpedo tubes or something like that, you don't have to worry about it. So we're at rank 4 with 2 stars now. Let's move on. This time we are against a Bismarck, so let's push hard. Now this map is somewhat scary with this kind of game mode, because you don't see the enemy ship until you actually go around the island, which means that you might be, you know, I'm not always certain where the enemy is positioned. Luckily though, the Bismarck just sailed directly towards me, and it's just completely okay. I launched the torpedoes, and now the Bismarck probably thinks, oh wow, so I don't have to worry about it. If I survive this, I'll be fine, right? Wrong! Reload booster means that you're still dead, Bismarck. Goodbye. Thank you for the star. And it's as easy as that. 71k damage. She actually healed a little bit between, I believe. Next up, it is an Atago. I think this map is better for this mode because everybody's gonna come straight ahead. So you can see the enemy from far away, and you'll know that they're not doing something cheeky. You see, ambushing enemies around an island when you can't see them is actually somewhat dangerous, because you don't know what they're going to do exactly. You see, the way to counter this type of gameplay is to, the moment you see them or know what they're gonna do, you turn around and sail away. Because if you're sailing away, it's very difficult to torpedo you. And that, you know, makes all the difference in the world. She's using Hydra, so she must see where the torpedoes are, so I'm gonna launch the second set in a slightly better position. Now I'm gonna reload booster since we're getting closer. I also need to dodge the Atago's torpedoes, and the follow-up torpedo should be able to finish the Atago, or I guess the first ones can finish her off. Awesome. thank you, Atago, for making that simple, and that's rank 3. Okay then, this is going swimmingly. Next up, we are going to fight the Tirpitz. Somebody in chat, oh, by the way, this was actually during the stream. Somebody in chat told me that I would actually have to play differently against the Tirpitz because I'll have to like dodge the torpedoes and whatnot. And I was like, what do you mean? It's not that different. You just turn slightly and then you just dodge the torpedoes. It's really not that hard. And I guess you'll see it in action in a moment. I always fire the guns when I can because it just makes sense. Maybe you'll get a fire, maybe you'll deal some extra damage. And that can always be very useful. Now, I don't actually think the Kagerou is the best destroyer or ship for this ranked season or anything like that. I mean, if you run into like a CV, you're probably gonna get screwed. Okay, let's reload. Wait a minute, is she just gonna die to those torpedoes? Okay, I think that Tirpitz doesn't exactly count, because that guy just... I don't know what he was doing, but he definitely was not trying to survive that one. Next up, now I'm playing the La Terrible, and against an implacable, a CV. My first match in the La Terrible in this ranked season, and it is a CV. This is unbelievably bad luck. In fact, this is the only CV I ran into as a destroyer. So, basically, the plan... Now, the good thing is that I'm not in a Kagerou this time. As a Le Terrible, it's actually better, because the Le Terrible is actually fast enough to be able to go around. So the plan here is to just go around the map in a way where I don't give any indication to the CV where I am. That means that I am not going to even touch the cap zone even slightly, because that will tell the CV where I am. The plan is to try to keep the CV in the dark as much as possible. Now, I go around the cap edges, but that's a bit of a mistake. You see, maybe it would have been better to just go directly to the map border when going around the cap zone, because this does put me in a somewhat, predictable position. Luckily, the CV does not guess where I am. She also started moving when she got spotted, but she doesn't guess where I am. However, it should have been possible to guess. Like right now, she's flying over the cap zone for some reason, but I never actually, sailed into the cap, so obviously I can't be over there. She's looking around, and I guess the La Terrible being a bit too fast is what basically saves me. If I was a Kagerou, I probably would have been spotted. Also, another thing is that maybe going around the right side of the map would have been a better idea. Anyway, we managed to get within spotting distance, as in the CV spots us, the ship itself, so it's time to open fire. And now we just have to sink her. She has 52k HP. Luckily, this isn't tier 10, so it's entirely possible to sink her. Now, I didn't know that you can citadel an implaceable with Le Terrible AP shells. I literally just find it out right here that this is possible. In fact, I still don't think that you can do it just by hitting the belt. I think it's some kind of weird glitch or something at the top, but, later here I realized that no, I can actually pen the belt for citadel hits, and that helps me sink her slightly faster. So, even against an aircraft carrier, it's possible to win, although it does require, I think, the implaceable to screw up a little bit. I think it would have been significantly harder against the Graf Zeppelin, for example. Okay, now we're fighting a radar cruiser. One that actually has a long-range radar, Chapayev. This time I do it differently though, I don't wait for the radar. I asked chat, and chat told me to just go hard. But unfortunately, that is a mistake. Because the Chapayev is gonna radar here in a moment, and then she knows exactly where I am, and she makes the right call in that she's going to just run away. And there she goes. And she also knocks out my torpedo tube just as I'm about to fire those torpedoes. So now I basically have to chase a cruiser while I'm being hydroed, and I'm not gonna deal that much damage. I just swapped the AP because I just hope that maybe I'll get some kind of more damage or something like that, but Unfortunately, this seems kind of unlikely to win at this point. She has 34k HP, while I have 11k. Now, this is not a game that I should be losing. If I'm completely honest, then what you can do as a destroyer against something like a Chapayev is, because I have IFHE, you can just stay at basically maximum range and just dodge every shell the Chapayev fires and just keep shelling. Your HE will deal so much damage that the Chapayev just can't live through it over time, but unfortunately at this close range it gets kinda difficult. Especially since I've launched all of my torpedoes already. So this was, I would say, my only game where I make a big mistake. But it's okay. I mean, we can, you know, play just one extra game, right? It's not that big of a deal. You have to learn even from your losses. Or rather, I guess the losses are the ones that teach the most. So I'll try. Okay. I wanted to say that I'd try torpedoing, but she knocked out torpedo tube exactly when I was about to fire torps again. Although they probably would not have arrived anyway because I sank right after. Still, well played by the enemy Chapayev. Anyway, moving on. We are playing against another battleship this time. The Bismarck also has Hydro. Let's see what she does. Now, the Le Terrible is a lot faster than the Kagerou, meaning that you make contact much earlier. She also has worse concealment, so this means that the enemy has slightly more warning, but you're so fast that I think it makes up for it. She doesn't have quite as many torpedoes, and her torpedoes don't kill quite about as much damage, but it's enough. However, this Bismarck is clearly making the right decision. She is turning around immediately when she saw me, and I think that is a good idea. The problem is that this would work really well when if she were against, say, Kagerou. Unfortunately, it doesn't work quite as well against the Le Terrible because she's a fairly fast destroyer. I mean, I am almost caught up with this Bismarck, and at some point I'm gonna get so close that she just can't launch or can't dodge the torpedoes, like right now. Sorry, Bismarck. Tough luck, man. Goodbye. Easy, right? Seems like torpedo destroyers with this kind of strategy were the real ships to play. Now I'm gonna switch to the Le Fantasque. You see, the difference between the Le Terrible and the Le Fantasque, I think in a random battle, the Le Terrible is actually a better ship. However, in this mode, I think the Le Fantasque is better because she has 10 knots faster torpedoes. They deal the same damage, they have the same concealment, they reload the same, but they're 10 knots faster on the Le Fantasque. But as a downside, she has worse reload. She also has slightly better concealment, I believe. I think it's 6.6 versus 6.4. I didn't pay attention earlier, but I think that's the number. Those are the numbers. So, we're against the Bismarck for our first fight, then... Wait, why is she unresponsive? She isn't looking. Is she, like, AFK? I mean, she looks AFK. Sweet, free kill. Wait, she's not AFK. She's talking in chat. What the fuck, I don't shot? Well, what the fuck, I do shot. Thank you for the star, Bismarck. So, if you're wondering what kind of skills did I run, well, on the captain... Oh, also, this is rank 2 already. On the captain, I ran... what's it called? Preventative maintenance, last stand, survivability expert, concealment expert, IFHE, expert marksman, and I think BFT for the last 3 points. These are just in case I run into a destroyer or, you know, if I run into the Chapayev again, so I won't be caught off guard that time. Anyway, this time we're against the Richelieu. I think that Richelieu would actually work rather well against this game mode if she had engaged with me when there were no islands around, so she could turn around and start running. But unfortunately for her, well, the engagement happened near islands, and at that point she has no chance of running away, and some drive-by torpedoes. Good night. thank you for the star. 3 more to go, I guess. Oh man, this was... And if you think that this looks great, this was quite enjoyable to play. Because, I mean, look. I've lost so far 1 match in this 1 session. I mean, this was really enjoyable. So, we're against the Tirpitz this time. So she can, you know, launch torpedoes in return, but as you've seen so far, I don't really have that much trouble dodging torpedoes. Okay, this guy seems to be actually reacting. He's turning around. This is a smart choice. I just don't know if it works against the Fantasque. She might be a bit too fast for this kind of a thing. So my engine gets knocked out. This is actually, you know, a dilemma. Because do you damage-con the engine being knocked out? I mean, in one case, or in one sense, it is a good idea because it makes your ship faster. However, in another sense, it's actually a bad idea, because if your torp tubes get knocked out once you've used your damage-con, you're gonna lose because you won't have your torpedoes available. Also, this guy actually got really close to sinking me. I went down to 2k HP. If he had actually turned around and started completely running away, perhaps the secondaries actually could have picked me off before, you know, I was able to sink her. But on the other hand, I suppose the secondaries wouldn't be quite as effective if she had done a full turn to run away. And maybe I could have done the same thing as I did against that Bismarck earlier. So, here's another Tirpitz. We're doing exactly the same thing. Same map, just other side. This guy has the awesome steampunk-ish type skin. Looks really cool. I have that on my Tirpitz too. Although I haven't really used it. Wait, what is he doing? Why is he not pointing at me with her main guns? Is she like just going to... Okay, I mean, free star, I guess? Wait, she's gonna be too close to me. Yeah, she's gonna be too close. I can only launch 1 set. On the bright side though, I'm too close for her torpedoes as well, so that's okay. And we can always do the follow-up from the other side. So, thank you for the star, Tirpitz. That was very nice of you. For the last match though, so we're at rank 2 and 3 stars, we just need 1 more star. For the last match, I'm gonna do a Kagerou fight. And as fate would have it, this match is against another Kagerou. So it's Kagerou versus Kagerou. And there can only be 1, obviously. So, this time, it's probably not going to come down to torpedoes, right? I mean, it's a destroyer versus destroyer fight, and it's a Japanese destroyer fight. We'll probably rip ourselves apart with the guns before it comes to the torpedoes. I mean, that's what I expect anyway. So I went for the cap rather quickly, and then I'm gonna enter the A cap as well. Obviously, double cap could be superior. I mean, you could end up in a cat and mouse fight, or cat and mouse game with destroyers, although she doesn't have RPF for some reason. She really should have taken RPF for this game mode. I think it would have helped quite a bit. Anyway, I know exactly where she is, so we made contact. Oh, there she is. And I can just fire. She appeared. She took quite a while to appear, but I think it's okay. 2800 damage, knocked out her engine, that's good. 3800 damage this time. I think I actually did more than she did. Also, she doesn't have survivability expert. Oh, she has smoke, she doesn't have reload booster. Okay, this should be great for me. I mean, I'm invisible right now as well, right? And sure, she is invisible to me too, but the torpedoes are approaching. And apparently, it did come down to the torpedoes. She managed to still catch one, and that's me at rank 1. Thank you very much for that, Kagerou, and I really appreciate that one. So if you're gonna take Kagerou into ranked and you want to rush, you need survivability expert, and you also should take RPF. Those are rather important skills, and I also would recommend reload booster. I basically run the same thing on the Kagerou as I do on the Le Terrible and the Le Fantasque. I found this ranked season to be quite a lot of fun. I loved rushing people with these destroyers. It was a lot of fun. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Cheetah Freak, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.